Assalamualaikum and good morning everyone. I am Nur Shazana Mokhtar, the third presenter. So I will continue our presentations today. So I will explain a little bit about creativity in Science Museum. So before that, we have to know what is creativity. Okay, as you can see from the slide, okay, the definitions of creativity. So what is creativity? Creativity involves transforming your idea, imaginations, and dream into reality. And creative thinking is defined as the thinking that enables students to apply their imaginations to generating ideas, questions, and hypotheses, experimenting with alternatives, and to evaluating their own and their peers' idea, final product, and process. So to simplify this, creativity is actually you are thinking outside the box. You are thinking the ways that different from others. So you have your own idea, your own imagination. So from the ideas, from the imagination, you transform it into a creation or result uh, or something that you create. So that is creativity. Okay, now we want to know how Science Museum can develop creative thinking. So I take this from the article research by Olga V. Inanova 2016. So he's point out three ways on how Science Museum can develop creative thinking among students. So the first way on how to develop creative thinking in Science Museum is by creative activity implementation at Science Museum. So it is important to begin to introduce our children to creative activity at early age. Why? Because during that age, during the young age, they are still interested in everything. They want to know everything and their level of curiosity is still high. So I am sure that you all have experience in going to science museum. So we know there are so many activity. There are a lot of activity in the science museum. So the activity is not just for fun. We are not playing the activity just for fun. The activity is actually can stimulate a student thinking skill. For example, stimulate their critical thinking skill, problem solving, and the most important one I want to highlight is creative thinking. So how activity can stimulate this thinking? Okay, for example, if you going to science museum and you playing a wooden block activity, the wooden block is actually have so many shapes, so you have to arrange that in one board. So you have to think critically, you have to think creatively how to fit all the wooden block in one spot. So that is how the creative activity can stimulate the thinking skill. So you have to think creatively how to solve the problem. Okay, next is self-exploration in Science Museum. Okay, basically when we bring our student to Science Museum, we will let them to self-explore everything in Science Museum. So self-explorations can stimulate some special interest in science study, and also they can acquiring new knowledge, develop imagination, curiosity, and creativity of the student. So when they self-explore, okay, doing their self-explorations inside the science museum, from the exploration they it can develop their imagination, their curiosity. So from that it can lead to creativity. So refer back what is creativity means. So creativity is it start from imagination and new ideas. So from that it will bring to producing the result, the creation of the product. the last one is provide environment that different from school and classroom. So science museum is actually the informal learning setting, which learning is intrinsically motivate and proceed through curiosity, observation, and activity. So when we bring our student to science museum, we actually introduce them to a new world, a real world, which is this setting doesn't have at school and classroom. So sometimes the new world, the real world, sometimes can bring the student into imagination and also open-minded towards science. So open-minded is important. Okay, so like I said before, one of the skill to be a creative people, to think creatively, is open-minded. Why? Because to think creatively, we have to set aside any assumption or bias that we have and look at the thing in a completely a new way. So by coming to a problem with an open-minded, so you will allow yourself the chance to think creatively.
So that's all from me. So next is activity 1. So what is activity 1? So stay tuned. We will conducting this activity through Google Meet.